All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning. Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. And this morning, we're going to be talking about the power of a good guest. The power of a good guest. What does it do for you? What does it do for the other person? What does it do for the audience that might be watching? We're going to talk about all that. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? Good morning and happy Tuesday to you, man. It is gonna be a beautiful day in Pittsburgh today. I hope it's gonna be a beautiful day where you guys are as well. I'm happy to be here with you this morning, and I am excited to talk to you about this topic because I think that this is one that when I say the things that I'm going to say today, a lot of it's going to seem to just kind of make sense to you, but hopefully it will give you some perspective on just the power of involving other people in the things that you're doing. And so this morning we're going to be talking about the power of a good guest. And what does that do for, the person that's interviewing potentially, or the person that's having an event? What does it do for the person that's involved? So the actual guests themselves. And then what does it do, for the audience? How does it increase the value to the audience of you involving other people in what you're doing? So we're going to talk about all that, but I want to kick it off this morning just saying good morning to some folks. Tammy Clark, what's happening? Good morning to you. Man, I can't wait, Tammy. One of these days, very, very soon. I was talking to Jeff yesterday. I'm going to get out that way, and we're going to meet in person. I look forward to that. Chris Filippelli, what's happening, man? Trudy, Scott, Jared, Carla, David, Matt, Keith. Man, we are full this morning. Rodney, Nadia, Sanjay, what's happening, brother? All the way, another West Coast guy, all the way from California. We got like 3 or 4 West Coast people on here up at 4:30 a.m. Props to you guys, man. Trisha, Rick, and Christina, good morning to you guys. All right, so the power of a good guest. What does it actually do when you have a great guest? So number one, guys, it raises the value of the entire experience. So you've probably been around some people that they just kind of demand the spotlight, and so they're a little hesitant to involve other people, to have guests, but the power of a good guest raises the value of an entire experience. So if it's a conference, if it's a show like this, if it's anything, it raises the value of all of it when you're able to get a great guest that people can connect to and relate to, right? And that is, it's a really important thing to understand that, it's not always about just that one person. It's about bringing other people in. And so just remember that, it brings a lot of value to the entire experience when you're able to secure a guest. An important thing to remember there is that the guest kind of has to align with your mission and your vision and kind of how you operate. If you are a certain kind of way and the person is the complete opposite, then that may, cause some waves with your audience if you have somebody on that doesn't necessarily align and they're delivering a message that can be kind of off, what people are used to hearing. That can cause a little bit of waves, but it always raises the value of the experience when you have a great guest. So the second part is that it is mutually beneficial to both parties that are working together to do this, right? Because there's a couple of things that happen when you have a good guest that comes onto your show. I was lucky enough to secure for the top contractor Inner Circle this week. I have Miss Shay Rowbottom coming on the Inner Circle call. And so Shay is going to be teaching LinkedIn Masterclass this week. And I look forward to that for several reasons. Shay and I don't know each other that well yet, but I think it will be great for us to, number one, be able to kind of share our audiences, right? So I posted some things about her coming on our call this week. She shared those to her page. So now I'm kind of mixing in with a new audience. People are learning about Top Contractor School. They might be connecting to me. as a result of Shay and I starting to share our audience as a result of this call that we have scheduled. So when you do that mutual promotion, it really expands your audience quite a bit. So think about that when you're doing it. Think about that when you're trying to make these relationships. How are you going to help benefit this person? So for me, when someone like Shay agrees to do a call like the Inner Circle call for Top Contractor School this week, what I try to do is to create materials, marketing materials and promotion that really makes them look good, right? That makes them look professional, that puts them out to our audience in a way that presents them as the powerful person that they are. So I try to give as much value as I can in exchange for this person being willing to spend time and space with us. So think about that, guys. As you're doing this, as you're creating the plan for how you have these guests. Now, if you just bring guests into your environment and you don't do these things, right? If you don't take the time to promote it properly, if you don't, treat them as the professional and the expert that they are, then that could be bad, right? Because the person's not going to feel a lot of value out of that relationship, and that could damage your relationship potentially. So make sure that when you have a good guest, that you are putting the work in to do the things necessary to make sure that that's, first and foremost, a good experience for them on the front end, but then also when they come into your group, that it is actually a great experience for them, that the audience is there, they're engaged, they understand who this person is, prior to actually meeting them for the first time. They understand what their expertise is, what their experience is, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's mutually beneficial to both parties because you have a shared audience, you have mutual promotion, you have exposure to new people, and you are able to flow power to another person. So, for me, as I've been binge watching Shay Rowbottom's YouTube channel. And so I am looking forward to being able to share with our group some of the expertise that Shay has that she may not mention because, it's more difficult to kind of promote yourself. But if I can learn those things and I can present Shay in a way that's attractive to our audience and makes her look like the expert that she actually is, right? Because it's not about saying things that aren't actually true. It's just about presenting the information in a way that makes this person look the way that they deserve to look. And so that, guys, takes work. It takes upfront research. It takes time to be able to do these things. When you are looking to interview a person, you have to really study that individual, right? You have to really understand who that person is. So again, so that experience is the best for that person, so that all the things that we talked about here, the mutual benefits that exist, those are just potentially mutual benefits, right? They only come to fruition if the proper amount of work and execution is put in. And so for me, I take that stuff very seriously because, people who are busy give their time to you. You should certainly treat that time with the respect that it deserves and be able to flow power to this person properly, where that on the back end of that experience, they get the best result by new connections, potential new customers, new followers, new people that are very interested in who they are and what they do as a result of being a guest in your environment, right? And so I want you guys to really think about, what that looks like. And by the way, this goes further than just, a guest in the way that we're describing it right now. What if we're talking about just a guest that is coming to your home, right? What about that person that might be coming to visit your office, that is a person of influence, that is a person that you want to get to know better, that is a person that you're going to interact with, and your preparation for that conversation will 100% define the frame in which you meet that person. So if you are able to speak on a level that lets that person know that you did some research and that you are actually interested in who they are and what they do, you're going to have a completely different experience, aren't you? That guest that comes to your home, that comes to your office, is going to feel completely different, right? And you guys all know the one-liner, but nobody will ever remember what you say. They will always remember how you made them feel. And so through these efforts that you can make up front, the power of a really good guest is very apparent to everyone. But it is super, super important for you guys to realize that the power of a good guest must be met with the effort of a good host, of a person that is interested in making sure that the benefits that potentially exist all come to fruition. And so I wanted to share this with you guys because I get a lot of questions about, how do we get the guests that we have? How do we make these connections? And honestly, I hope that it comes from, people that come to our groups and come to, be guests in environments that we have. We've got an event coming up in June, and those guests will be treated in the way that they deserve. They're experts at what they do. They're kind enough to share time and space with us. And so we're going to do a great job in advance of that event of really understanding each individual person that's coming, how we can help promote them, how they get the most out of the event, so that up front, again, we're going to educate the group that'll be there on who these people are, why they should listen to them, and give these incredible guests that we have the opportunity to achieve those mutual benefits that potentially exist. So I hope this was a helpful conversation this morning, and I hope that you can understand how this applies well beyond just the immediate concept that we're talking about. It applies to everything. If you want to be a good friend, if you want to be a good husband, you should understand the things about the other person, put in the work, and also be doing all the things. If you're looking to be a good friend, you should share your audience, meaning you should introduce all of your friends to your other friends, right? That is the power of having influence and the power of having great people in your life, great guests, if you will, in any aspect of your life. But the power of a good guest for the relevancy of what we're talking about this morning is extensive, guys. I mean, you will gain a ton from doing these things the right way, right? By, really putting the time in up front, really making these people feel respected and cared for, and make sure that they understand that their time is valued to you. That will position you in a way that creates relationships that last a lifetime. So I hope it was helpful for you this morning, guys. Wishing you an amazing Tuesday, and I will see you again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.